Profanity Nation.
Yeah, it's the new era of man for some old school fans with a new school brand. We got money on the mic with the plan in hand. And Stat Pat to his left, they go hand in hand. And to the right, we got Simpster, he putting it down. It's the Profanity Nation, we running the town, yeah.
It's the Profanity Nation.
Profanity Nation.
Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Profanity Nation podcast. As you can see, we have a very special guest right here to my left. But before we get to him, let's introduce my co-host, Mr. Money Mike. How you feeling, sir?
Man, I'm feeling good. You know, getting ready for the big race this weekend. So
it's time.
Feeling good. Yeah, man.
It's time.
Good.
We'll fill Milan in on that one.
Couple more days.
Stat Pat.
Hey, I'm actually looking forward to it too, man. So,
you coming? You coming, Stat?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring them, and they're gonna be on iPad.
Oh, okay, cool. No, they will be entertained by this.
All right,
you got this, Mike. You got
as you know, everybody, we are the Profanity Nation. That means that we represent the pro fans in the world, and we just wouldn't be doing our justice if we didn't bring in Milan. Milan, how are you today?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
absolutely.
Yes, sir.
You definitely qualify as a professional fan.
You think?
Yeah, you're our professional Sparks fan today. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you
Glad
so
to be
much. Let's start with this. It's kind of what we ask all of our, professional fans, super fans here is what got you interested in the team itself and then to such a degree of fandom?
So I met my wife, and my wife used to work for the organization.
Okay. That makes sense.
It's an interesting tidbit. When the WNBA first started, she was in high school, and she got a gig as a ball girl for the Sparks.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was a ball girl. She got her degree in kinesiology. She started interning as an athletic trainer. So she stayed connected to the team.
Nice.
And so when she and I met, obviously I became connected, and we started going to games. And and the funny part is, if you talk to her, she'll say, she was worried as to whether I'd be interested, in women's basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a sports fan.
Yes.
I was gonna say,
I'm like, hello, we're gonna. So we went to the games, and what really drew me into the WNBA experience, it's not as commercialized, right? Like you go to a Lakers game, Dodgers game, something like that. It's really commercial. You're really kind of distant from the players, from the refs. The whole vibe is different. In the WNBA, I felt like, okay, it's more of a home atmosphere, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's more family atmosphere. You're closer to the fans. You see
more
people.
intimate.
It's more intimate. They call you by name and those type of things. And I'm like, man, that's right up my alley. I'm a crazy kind of dude, sense of humor. I can talk, ramifications of a world oil glut with you, or we could talk about Friday, we could talk about, we could laugh, we could talk about the brawl for it all in Montgomery, Alabama. I could
brawl for it all.
I could do it all, right?
I love it.
So I'm like, this is mad crazy. This is right up my alley, right?
Yeah.
So your question, to the degree, as I got more and more comfortable and people, your personality starts to come out, and I'm like, I like having a good time, and so I just let my hair down, my proverbial hair down, of which I have none. So that's kind of what the way it grew, and people started, hey, how are you? I see you, I love you dancing on the big screen and this and that. And I guess a star was born, a fan was born, I guess.
Nice.
So it definitely wasn't planned.
No,
it just happened. No. And you know what? Everyone here, right here in this room, can 100% resonate with exactly what you're talking about. We're all huge NBA fans, basketball fans. We are also all WNBA fans, but we actually all met at the South Bay Laker games.
Wow. Okay.
And the South Bay Laker games, of course, are at the Lakers training facility. Have you ever been to one of those games at all?
No.
I highly recommend it.
You will this year.
Yeah, you need to go. It's exactly like you just described. It's much more intimate. You're right there with the players. Everyone's in the same room. After the game, the visiting players are just out front hanging out. The Laker players are just out front. It's an incredibly fun, intimate experience. So we completely understand, and you're right. That's exactly what you get at the WNBA. They make you feel included and part of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, have you ever gone to a minor league baseball game?
Exactly.
It's the same way. I mean, even the in crowd, gestures and stuff they do. I mean, they'll have a fake umpire, and and when people aren't looking, they'll switch, and in between innings they're doing a dance off, with the mascot and those kind of things. And I remember the first time they kind of got me. I'm like, he can't do that, because I was an NCAA umpire for many years. I'm like, whoa, he's gonna get in trouble. And then I realized, okay, they got me. He doesn't have the patch on or whatever, but just that experience. you know, and as a true fan of the sport, there's no way you can't appreciate that.
Enjoy
Yeah,
it.
Like
exactly.
it's a professional level of sports, but it's like, man, if you're truly into the sport, this is a dream, right?
Mhm.
To be able to get this close to the innards of and workings of the team and how things run. And so that really kind of drew me in.
And not just that, Mike, as you always say, if you want to watch fundamentals,
Yeah, fundamental basketball. You want to watch the WNBA because they actually, obviously I mean, look, I got bashed last time I said they can't dunk or anything, and then somebody had a clip showing a whole lot of dunking clips.
so they can.
So I ain't gonna say that they can't, but it's more of a fundamentally sound basketball. It's not everything not really based off athleticism. So I always say if you want to watch a fundamental game, you definitely want to watch the WNBA.
If you're teaching,
Yeah, because I always
you
like
want
when
to
I
watch
was
that,
when
not Curry.
exactly. I would say if you want to teach the game, you watch the women's game because they actually, like you said, they do practice fundamentals. I would even say the guards are just as skilled as the men guard, no doubt. They do the same thing. I mean, you see, they do the same thing. They got the same they got the same step backs, they got the same take them to the rack. I mean, how many point guards in the NBA actually dunk? You know what I'm saying? It's not like, I mean, remember back in the day when Magic came out, everybody wanted to be a 6'9" point guard. So you had the Steve Smiths come out, had the Penny Hardaway comes out. And then before they started gravitating back to the mean where it was like, we just 6'2", 6'3" with dribbling skills and got ball handling and get, floor generals. That's what the women are. It's the same thing. Floor generals, they go out there, they do their job, and then you can't. I mean, come on, look at the aces. I mean, we have Rihanna Stewart, we have big women now. I mean, and we also as Sparks fans, we know the GOAT, right? We got Lisa Leslie, the GOAT. So it's like we've seen big women dominate, the WNBA. And so looking back now, I mean, Candace Parker, I mean, we've been blessed as Sparks fans. We've been blessed.
Absolutely. We've definitely been spoiled.
In a young birthing of the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's still relatively a young league.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at how long the NBA's been around and where they're at versus
right.
W, and you always are fighting this comparison, but people who truly know can say, hey, that's not a fair comparison. Give the W 100 years, right? Get a W 75 years or so, and then say, hey, this is now we can say where you were at when the NBA was at 75 years. You have to compare apples to apples. But it's interesting, the ebb and flow of the game of basketball, how it bleeds into every facet, like every level. I'm sure the South Bay Lakers in the W, like the college game, you got 7-footers that want to shoot threes.
Yeah.
Now back, in the Lakers heyday in the 80s, whatever, Kareem, and there's no 3-point shot, right? There's Michael Cooper might have shot one, McAdoo every now and then. It was a rarity.
I believe
now
there was a front headline when Shaq shot one. Back in the day,
right?
He shot a 3 and it was just in garbage time, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah.
Now the 3 is like a 2-point play, right? Like you even hear commentators, with an and one, you'll hear them say, "Oh, a traditional 3-point play," right? Because now the 3-point shot is a regular shot.
I mean, you're right. You would see a player dribble to the basket and kick it out,
a wide open layup,
right?
And I kick it out to the person on the flank, to shoot that 3, and I'm like, that's a higher percentage shot. Lay that bad boy in. You see
guards. Literally, there's a whole fast break going on, and they see the whole flow go to the basket. He's like, "Well, you leave me open at the 3, I'm gonna take the 3." Yeah. I'm like, "You had a 3-on-2 fast break."
Split that defender and make a decision.
He's like, "Wait a minute, I'm gonna just shoot this 3. I got this. I'm wide open." I'm like, "Okay, I guess that's high percentage."
But that also lends to the WNBA. The WNBA as far as the ebbs and flows of the league and how things change and adapt and grow. And the NBA is in that stage, but it's just still in a young stage.
I mean, you look at the marquee players. I mean, Steph Curry has changed the game. I mean, you got all these kids coming up now that want to shoot from the logos.
Yeah.
I mean, teams during practice, a regular part of practice, they're putting money on the logo, shooting half-court shots, and and that was just unheard of 20 years ago. It was unheard of, but but I like it in the fact that the women's game is keeping pace, with the men's game. And when we talk about, you were talking about fundamentals, Mike, learning the game. If I'm a coach teaching young players the game, I definitely don't want them watching the NBA, because these players I mean, let's just be honest, they're bigger, stronger, and faster even than men were 20 years ago, or 30 years ago. And so a lot of it, they are able to rely on their athleticism, right? When I can fly 2 feet above the rim, you know, my footwork may not matter. You know, I can just turn and dunk the ball. But if that is not an option for me, then fundamentally my footwork needs to be sound, right? I need to keep a body, you know, on the big. I need to box out. I can't just out jump everyone. But you know, like you were saying, you got teased about the dunking. You know, there are women in the W that can dunk, which leads me to another thing I wanted to bring up to you guys. A lot of people have argued about the entertainment value of the W, trying to market it, and they've always thrown out lowering the rim. Right, they've always talked. I don't know if you guys have heard that. They should lower the rim.
I believe on LA Sparks Weekly, one of our hosts, Michael, actually thinks that's an option.
You know, I heard Shaq saying it. I've heard a few different marquee people in the game of basketball saying it. But the interesting part is the players in the W are against it. They say, hey, we don't want to belittle our game or make our you know, our game any less. You know, give us time to catch up. But I heard an interesting argument, excuse me, from an NBA player I was sitting courtside next to. I won't say his name, but he said, you're already using a smaller ball. He said you've already made accommodations for the differences between the male and the female, you know, athlete, the basketball player. He said they play with a smaller ball. It's much more grippy. You know, the NBA ball is larger because the average women's player's hand is smaller, just as the average height is smaller. And he said, so their rim should be smaller. And I said, well, where does it end? Do they play on a shorter court?
That's what I'm talking about. Like, we don't know.
Is the, you know, like, where does it end? And he was saying, from a business standpoint, he gets the argument. And I was like, I'm kind of on the fence because I believe in these women, and I believe in their argument that, hey, our game should stay true. We don't want to lessen the game for us. We're going to meet the standard. Give us time. But then I also see it's a business, and we have to be clear, you know, in the infancy stages of the W, you know, over the years, we've lost maybe 6, 7, 8 teams. You know, I mean, the Houston, they won the first 4 championships, and they're not around. You know, I mean, yes. And so it's a business. You can't forget it's a business. And typically sports, you're marketing to that male 18 to 45-year-old, whatever. And that's the big knock you'll see, you know, as you read comments on social media or you talk to casual fans. You know, they talk about the game is boring. It's not exciting. And it's like, well, you're not a true fan of the sport then. Right. If you think that's what I think. You think it's not exciting. But I do get, as a business owner, if I can put more butts in seats, you know, it makes me more dollars in pockets.
Look, I feel all that. I understand all those arguments, but I've also heard arguments like from women that complain about how us men won't go to the games, right? But then
attention a minute.
But here's the thing: they'll ask the women, you know, how many games have you gone to? And they were like, well, we haven't been to none, right? So I think that's probably one of the problems. I think if the women would probably get into it and actually go to the games more often, you know, then trust and believe.
I think that's a harder climb. I mean, that's pushing a wheelbarrow uphill, because the construct of society is, let's just be honest, men support sports more than women do. I mean, it's just in the basic nature of
it's slowly changing, just like tattoos are slowly, but it's
slowly
changing.
It's very slow. It's very slow to turn the ship around. But as the majority, men are into sports more than women.
Right.
And so I get why you want to market to that male, market that viewer, to try to get them to come and watch women's basketball. And, not all women watch football. Yeah, not all women watch the NBA, but it's very successful. It generates a lot of money.
But when women do watch these male sports, they also watch it for different reasons than we watch those sports.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, so excuse me, in football, maybe not as much it is in basketball and baseball, because the women, and I'm not going to be, don't flame me. Don't flame me. Don't flame me.
They're going to cancel.
Don't flame me.
Like, don't add me.
But we know what it is.
You're inbound.
Don't get at me, because I've heard too many people say, "Ooh, Travis Kelce is cute." Okay, but he's like one of the top 3 tight ends that ever played the game. That's why I'm looking at the game. So when we're talking about like people are looking at the game and the women are supporting the game, well, they should just support the game because of basically they want to watch the game and because they like the game. So when they watch men's sports, either their brother played or they really like it, but there's going to be some connection to the woman and the male on the team. Like it's just we've seen it. And if you want to go ahead and flame me because we actually see it. I mean, come on, let's call it what it is. We've seen it. But at the same time,
that's a good question. Who's the ugliest NBA superstar?
And they never support him.
There it is.
And they don't support him. They don't support that guy.
NBA
they don't support it. They never supported Odin Polynice.
Wait a minute. Wait,
they never supported him.
Okay, hang on.
Huh?
John Gibb got like 9 kids.
I have a gripe.
And they never supported him. And they never supported him like that.
There it was.
Somebody like
okay, so I have a gripe, and I'm hearing exactly what you're saying. We're talking marketing, and you're right. They need to market. You know, the females, viewers will come. They need to market to the men because traditionally men watch sports. So my question is this, and this is I've asked this on the show several times directly to the NBA. The NBA is subsidizing the WNBA. Essentially, they're owners of the league, or they are. There is no league in the world that markets their team and their players better than the NBA. Period. They know how to do it. We have just set a record for watching Barbie in this world, okay? If they can do it with marketing, you can do it with marketing with the WNBA. They don't do it, and I don't understand why. I've said this before. The WNBA launches, they started with this. We have next, and they would promote that during the playoffs, right? These women, these stars should be courtside on these playoff games. They're not available during the finals because usually their season starts. They should be courtside. Just like if you were
just like the men are doing.
Movie.
The men are doing that for the women game right now.
Yeah, they're trying, but it's the other way because the men are you really hoping that because I like Dwayne Wade, I'm going to catch the game that Dwayne Wade saw, or am I watching Dwayne Wade play and seeing these other women there and they're introducing me to them and going, I wonder how she is. And then when I see her name again and hear her name again, it's starting to brand. They know how to do this. The NBA is the best. They're better than football. They're better than any league. Why aren't they doing it?
Some of the things I've seen, that are happening, that are moving in that direction is like the Final Four, the Sweet 16. Like I think they set a record this past season for the most watched, in the championship. And so I think that's kind of leapfrogging. You start to plant the seed earlier, the high school all-star, the McDonald's, and those things. And you start watching these players at a younger age, just like they're doing the men. And I think that's kind of one of the underlying marketing strategies is getting people interested in these female athletes earlier on in their careers.
Yes.
And then now you're excited to see when the WNBA draft, hey, where do they end up? Exactly. Where are the trades going and those type of things. So I think there's a lot of, there's a lot of marketing that's probably a little bit over my head. That isn't my specialty. I didn't study marketing, but we think traditionally, hey, a commercial or somebody sitting courtside or something, which those things are there. But I think there are strategists, and people, because the WNBA last season was the most watched championship.
Yes.
Right? The playoffs were the most watched. So something is working.
And
right?
female college sports.
Well, I'm going to go in.
You know what I think it is, though?
So it's not the female game.
No, because go ahead.
But you know what's really interesting, though? Like it's a different reason why you watch. Like the reason why we really watch the women's Final Four and all that stuff, obviously because of LSU and that. But you know what? It was the coaches, right? Because we wanted to see what Don Staley was going to do, and I can't think of the LSU. I can't think of the LSU.
I forgot.
But so it's like the appeal of the actual coaches. I think the reason why the numbers were up last year for the Aces, Becky Hammond. You know what I mean? She was, you want to see what Becky Hammond going to be able to get the Aces to get a championship. And now the Aces are so successful in what they're doing because they have Becky Hammond and they have Asia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Asia is one of the best players in the game, and Becky Hammond is the coach. So maybe that could be a strategy that could be taken, because I think that's one of the things kind of missed. If you know the coaches and what they do, that will bring in. Obviously, they have to be good, so you want to watch them. But maybe that would help.
Well, I would say this as well. When it comes to the women's game, is like, is the formula works. Men and women doesn't matter. Like when we talk about a polarizing figure in the sport, when you talk about Angel Reese, okay, polarizing figure,
right? Talk
her stuff, but backs it up.
And look at the UFC.
You see what I'm saying?
Women fighters in the UFC.
And so that, if you're talking about the formula for men to be in, we like that kind of stuff. We like, she's braggadocious. She's out there. She's talking her shit. I'm gonna watch that. I need to see. Yeah, I want to see.
Yeah,
girl from LSU. I need to see this. So I need to see now. And I was like, she backed it up. I rock with her like that. Now she got NIL deals. Now she's on TV.
And then when there's two, it's must watch when they go.
Yeah.
Each other.
So it's like now it is happening.
That's
beautiful. And they're trying to create stuff with Asia and also and Stewart. And they and one thing I do like about the women's overall, and just it could be rap, it could be sports. They ain't into all that. Like you putting me against this person, and I'm just gotta be. Nah, it's camaraderie. We all doing this thing because we out here trying to just be good. And I can respect you. I can be a competitor. I can respect you, but I don't have to hate you. It doesn't have that's a man thing. Yeah. That's what we do.
Testosterone.
That's what we do. I gotta hate you to beat you. And I gotta do it. Yeah. Women like, nah, I just don't like you today. But tomorrow we be good.
We'll kick it.
We're good. We cool.
A good example of that was in the bubble.
But that's okay. Right?
Yeah, but see, I don't like that though. I mean, because
but that's okay though.
Yeah, but listen,
Mike's still back.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Okay though, you don't have to like. I'm just saying that's what I appreciate. It's refreshing to me.
I am not. Hold on.
It's refreshing to me, man.
I feel you, but I'm not advocating for violence.
Yes,
but let me ask you though.
But if you come close to
it, wait a minute.
Mike wants you to walk that line.
No, look, I'm not advocating for violence. But let me ask you a question: if there was a bench throwing brawl, like one, you know what I mean? Would that be?
Come on, Mike.
We're the Masters of the Palace.
No,
the Masters of the Palace.
Man. That is not a marketing strategy, right? Like,
look. Okay, listen. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, remember he came in one day. He decided that he was gonna get kicked out. Right? Mm-hmm. He elbowed that dude. He got kicked out of the game. Everybody thought he was tough. And everybody knew not the best. And Pat, am I lying?
No, you're not.
It's a different time, though. It's a different time in society now.
Yeah, I
walk
get
in
that.
and punch the biggest kid in school, and that's it.
Right.
No, but
nowadays you get killed for that, Mike.
Right.
It worked back then. When your mom could stand up for you, it worked. But now that doesn't.
All
right. Okay. Cool. What if we had more of Angel Reese's in the world?
Of course,
more people talking crap,
100%.
Getting in their face. Because they don't like it, but it definitely would make headline news.
Oh, it did, and it did. It did in the finals.
Yeah,
but we did that. You can't see
right? But we need that more of that in the WNBA.
But you know what's crazy about that? What you're saying? What happened was it was before she was responding to somebody else.
Yes.
So we are now bringing it was building. And what I'm saying now, but it's like I said, the same formula is controversy sells, man. We know it does.
Just the fact we know her name proves that we do not care if it's a woman or a female.
No, it doesn't.
It's entertaining.
It's entertaining, and we were in
and presented to us.
That is what taps into us when we're talking about why we're not watching the game. That is what we look for. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, then you're talking about sports, real sports fans that like the game, which I am. I'm recognizing the skill of it. You talking about the casual fan? They need that extra stuff.
Yeah,
I need just be able to. Oh wait, that football, that step back. Yeah. They still got shot. That shot is on. Like what I'm saying. That's what I'm looking for. So the women game to me. Only thing different, it ain't just getting dunked on nobody.
We're moving on.
All right, I'm sticking to this though. Think about this. Imagine this: it's a WNBA playoff game, and you got Inescu about an Asia. And the Nescu and Asia are going back and forth. You know what I mean? They do a little elbow, whatever. And Nescu pops a three like Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? Asia, back and forth.
Why should gotta be Larry Bird?
Talking.
He was just trying to paint the picture, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to paint the picture.
I'm just going classic rivalry.
Yeah, classic rivalry. Classic rivalry. You know what I mean?
The interesting part of that is and
am I wrong for the thinking this?
You touched on it a little bit. Is the dynamic? Women and men are different. right?
Yeah.
Like the testosterone, the whatever, the bravado or whatever, you know, and that's one thing I do enjoy about the W is women let their hair down, right? Like they have more fun. They don't have the you know, oh, I can't be seen laughing. You know, guys have this tough stuff. I want to be seen tough in a certain way. And, you know, the women, you know, they're dancing coming out of the tunnel, you know, and they've got their songs, they're singing. And, you know, I enjoy that part of people not being afraid to be vulnerable and be themselves. You know, like we need more of that, just humanity, right? In society is being able to be vulnerable, taking care of, hey, this is when I need a break. It's okay to say I'm tired or I'm stressed out. I think we still need to push resiliency, right? Like sometimes we lean too far for victimizing everybody. We need to still push resiliency. But I do enjoy that about, you know, the differences between women and men and watching the women's game is they celebrate. They celebrate much more than we do. The classic example is softball versus, you know, you look at NCAA softball versus men's baseball in NCAA. You know, the dugouts, the chatter is very different. You know, the women are cheering and they got chants and songs. You'll never see that from the men. You know, they're throwing. Why
are you so happy? We down by 5.
Right. They got darts in other areas. And so some of those are just kind of the differences. And so to your point, Mike, I don't know that that's going to ever really take off. Because we're talking about different dynamics. You know, your onesies and twosies. There's been, you can get on YouTube and find you some fights in the W, but nowhere near they're gonna come.
I mean, like you hear somebody get suspended for coming off the court, man. They make news.
All right. What we're gonna do, we got to take a quick little break. We're gonna pay some bills. Don't go anywhere. We've got our guest Milan here, professional fan for the Los Angeles Sparks. We're gonna keep talking. We're gonna find out what sports Milan was into before he discovered the Sparks. And don't go anywhere.
Profanity Nation.
A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss, raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Profanity Nation.
A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss, raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
And we're back. We're watching. We're part of, and you're watching the Profanity Nation podcast. Thank you so much. The home of the professional fan, of course. As you know, I got Money Mike, Stat Pat, and our special guest, professional fan Milan here. Okay, so we're talking about the WNBA, talk about the Sparks, but what I really want to know, you told us the story, kind of how you were mostly introduced to loving the Sparks through your girlfriend at the time, I guess. And she was with the Sparks, which is a great story. But you said you were always a sports fan. So what kind of sports were you always? Basketball, football? What's kind of your favorite sports? What are you watching now?
So I probably grew up more baseball.
Love it.
My dad played baseball. I played baseball. I umpired baseball. My son played baseball. You know, he went and played in college. So That's kind of been my first love. Football, always, I was going to be the next.
Wait. What's your team?
Oh,
49ers.
Oh.
All right.
All right, well,
49ers.
yeah.
However, my wife and I always support the home team, right? We always support the home team.
That's
so
fair.
we go to Rams games, right? We'll go to Chargers games. It produces revenue, right? It's good for the city.
Sure.
You're
jobs,
pissing off
right?
Pat
Taxes.
right now.
So, but in my heart,
Just so you know, there was a home team in LA before the Rams and Chargers. I'm just,
there was. And I think they're gambling now. They're
See, here it goes. So, like
Gambling their future away there.
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine.
But and the funny part is, I'm not one of those fans. I don't hate any team.
Sure.
You have people to go, I can't stand the Dallas.
Yeah.
I can't stand them. I don't hate anybody. I'm gonna root against you when you're playing against
my team.
Right. And or I'm gonna root for you to lose if you're close and we're in the same conference. Right. Like, so that's just fandom. Right. But I don't have this detest for, I got some diehard buddies of mine that are Cowboys fans and I love to tease them because they're loud as all
Cowboy
get out
fans
when
are
the
the worst.
Cowboys
You
win.
know what? That's funny because that's
Cowboys
exactly what I was going to ask you. I would say you don't hate the team, but how about the fans?
No, and I
Special groups.
as an avid fan, a
As
fanatic,
a professional
sport,
fan, yep.
right? Like I appreciate. When
fair.
I see people face painted, I love the guys in Green Bay that are no shirt on, painted. I'm like, bro, I bow down to that.
Yeah.
I don't do cold, bro. Like I'm not out there in the cold with I'm sitting and watching, rewinding, listening to commentary. Like those are diehard fans that you're out there. It's 0 degrees,
No question.
and you're watching the game. But to answer your question, football, baseball, diehard baseball, football fan, basketball, really all sports. The only sport I probably never really got into was hockey.
That's fair.
Soccer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, growing up in South Central LA,
weren't the most popular sports in America while we were growing up in our age.
Right.
Hockey was there, but it wasn't. It was.
Right.
It was baseball was probably even one of the largest because then came Magic and Bird.
Yeah.
And kind of brought it up to par, but really baseball and football. And then we
And
lost
as a
football in
youth-
LA for so long that it was just baseball and basketball for LA.
right? And as a youth growing up,
Where'd you grow up?
South Central LA.
Good, LA. Okay, great.
So soccer and those kind of things really for in our culture just wasn't really around and wasn't things you did.
No.
You played football or basketball. I mean, they were easy to do. There's a hoop. We jumped the fence at school, on the weekends, and you played ball, or you get a pick up a football game. We played
in the street.
You played in the street. Those were easier games to play. I mean, hockey, you need a ton of equipment and those kind of things. So those are the basic, football, basketball.
All right. So here's a quick quiz for you. Okay, Dodgers or Angels?
Dodgers.
Okay.
Lakers
All right.
or Clippers?
Lakers.
All right, cool.
Good. We're good.
Are you good?
We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
There's really no question.
We good.
Yeah.
We good. We good. I mean, we good. I mean, it's like,
no
and
question.
49ers, you can't even be. I mean,
teams.
the 49ers, you can't even be mad at. I mean, like, look, man, I'm a Raider fan, so it's like, I mean, and I respect the 49ers. Of course, there's a little rivalry, the Bay Area rivalry, but they've done it well. For the most part, they've always had a solid team. It really, I mean, they've maintained some. The Raiders supposed to be a commitment of excellence, and I'm saying we fell off that.
I think they should change that motto
a long time ago. And
Why you rubbing it in, dog?
you know what I'm saying? But it's like 49ers have had these different wild quarterbacks and junk, and then be bringing them in, and the defense still good, and you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a solid team and a good run organization. So I do appreciate that. But what I want to ask you is that so when it comes to your love for the Sparks, I see the hat, and I like the fact that is just its own thing. It's different. I haven't never seen that before. You've seen the people that walk around like in football. I mean, baseball, the baseball races. See the big hat, the baseball race. I forgot what it is. Big hat, something like that. But never a hat that's like that fit. And to your head and you're able to wear it and do all your thing and stuff. No, don't fall off. Like, talk about the hat. Like,
so the hat was born. So last season, I talked to my wife. I'm like, man, I want to, I want something that I do for the team for each season, a theme. And so last year I wore a cowboy hat.
Okay.
Right. And I typically don't wear a cowboy hat.
Was it Sparks colors?
I had a
It was
band on
gold.
it. Yes,
Okay.
that had a Sparks
Deal.
logo on the top. And so I wore that, right? And people loved it, right?
Mhm.
Like I was getting people like, hey, the hat, even commentators, something, you know, they see me on the big screen, the hat. And so I said, okay, what's next? And my wife and I saw this hat, and she was like, oh no, if you're gonna do a hat again, that's the hat.
Yes,
right.
sir.
That is the hat.
Yes,
so
sir.
I got that. I found out who makes them, and I got it made, you know, custom with the Sparks. And I have something for next season in mind as well. Another
Okay.
hat, you know,
Can't
is
wait.
my theme. My wife says this is a winner, so I probably need to keep it another season or
Yeah.
two, but I may mix in my
Okay.
idea. But that's kind of how the hat was born, right? A
Break
commitment.
it out for the playoffs from now on. Make it to the playoffs, that you bring out the hat.
Yeah. And I mean,
Mhm.
and as a commitment, you know, to the season, to fandom, right? Like, hey, we're all in. You know, the Sparks have not had a lot of success in the last few years. You know, we won in 16, and then, you know, some rebuilding and growing. But a fan is a fan. Right, like
Mhm.
the ups and downs.
You
Like
have to go
you
through
know, fair weather fans. You know, it's easy to come to the games when you're
Mhm.
winning,
Do you
right?
hear,
Like
do you hear that, Fredo?
when you're winning, you know, people come and people who don't normally watch sports, or hey, I'm gonna go to a Laker game or a
Yes,
Sparks
yeah,
game, or
it's
it's
fun, like-
playoffs, or you know, Super Bowl parties.
Yep,
You know, they don't
yep.
know anything. Hey, did they
Everyone
did they
comes out.
bat a touchdown? You know,
Yeah,
like they don't know anything.
I'm here
but-
for the commercials.
right, but it's or the commercials.
That's a
So,
large court.
but a true commitment, right, to a fan is so that's kind of how the hat was born. That hey, I want a gimmick. I want something for each season that's going to embody, you know, that hey, I'm 10 toes down, all
Mhm.
in, you know, to the team.
Have you been asked where other people can get them?
Oh man, almost maybe 10 times
A
a game.
game.
Maybe 10
Where
times
do I
a
get that?
game.
Where do I get
People
that?
will stop me because we sit courtside, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
a lot of people don't have access to you if they're not courtside. You know, the ushers
Yeah,
are,
they won't
or
let you
they,
in.
I mean, they're like
Yeah.
tight ends
Yeah,
or
they-
you know,
they
defensive
tell-
linemen in crypto. So, but once the game's over, and you know, my wife and I go up top. People are like, hey, where'd you get the hat? Where'd you get the hat? You know, and I don't know if I can plug the company or whether I should or not. Yes, no.
Oh,
Wait,
Go for
are
it.
they paying you?
No, they're not paying me.
Well,
That's okay,
this
but they
up
helped
you
you with
then.
the
They're
hat.
not paying me.
Go ahead.
So it's a company called Noggin Boss.
Okay.
Noggin Boss. So
Deal.
if you Google it, they make hats.
Okay.
And you can make it custom. You get what color, the sizes, and whatever. And so that's kind of how the hat was born.
Beautiful. I love it.
It's like a 13 and a quarter.
Yeah, without the fitting
Yeah.
inside. I mean, I
It's
don't
like-
know if there's a head big enough to fit it, but
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Let's get to, of course, we are a Lakers show. So let's talk a little bit of Lakers. It's off season, but we're getting close. I'm curious of your thoughts. You keep up with the Lakers, I'm assuming
Yes,
still?
yes.
Okay. There's been some news released that they are going to be releasing a Kobe Bryant statue soon, or unveiling. And that might be with Gigi, which some people are kind of mixed on that.
yeah.
But what I'd like to speak about, and I think LeBron here,
Yeah.
or LeBron lover, Jeannie Buss has come out and basically said as a foregone conclusion that LeBron will have his jersey retired with the Lakers. It's already done, essentially. Curious as to your thoughts on
Yeah, I'm very interested in this.
Yeah, you know, it's
You turn this way.
I don't know.
look at you
I-
directly.
I think that's a little premature, to be
Oh.
honest with you.
Agreed.
I mean, when we think about now, just a few days ago, Fernando Valenzuela, right?
Right.
Remember,
Yep.
Yeah.
Fernando Mania,
Mhm.
right? Played with the Dodgers.
Mhm.
Dodger
Took
pitcher.
took the Dodgers by storm, took the MLB by
And
storm,
Mexican culture. by
and
storm.
they had to fight
That part.
to get to retire his jersey because he wasn't in the Hall of Fame. You know, he had a short career, even though he was very impactful. He had a short career with the Dodgers, and prior ownership and whatever, they didn't want to retire his jersey, and they finally said, "Hey, we're going to retire his jersey. Like, we're going to make him a legend, and we're going to retire his jersey." And so, with that being said, you know, LeBron hasn't cemented a legacy as a Laker, right? To be able to say we're going to retire his number like Magic, right?
Right.
Like Kareem. You know, like
You good? You
you
good,
know,
Miss Money?
he's
comfortable now.
to me, you know, to me, I need to see, you know what I mean? I need to see some other championships. I need to see a lifelong commitment. You know what I
Smart
mean?
man
He's
right
made some statements as to whether we're not sure he's going to stay with the
Mhm,
Lakers or
mhm.
not, you know? And so I need, again, 10 toes down. I need a commitment. I need you to retire here at a minimum,
I ain't
you
gonna
know,
say that.
get in the
I'm
Hall
gonna
of
lay down
Fame
right here.
first. right? And then we'll talk about.
Let's touch base on that right there. You say Hall of Fame, right? It's my opinion that Jerry Buss does not retire the jersey. And if he was, there would be two things that have to be done. Number one, he's got to win another title and push us over the Boston Celtics. And number two, he would have to go into the Hall as a Laker. And he's not going to do that. He's going to go in as a Cap. And I think if he doesn't go into the Hall as a Laker, I don't think Jerry Buss would retire the jersey.
Yeah, Jerry Buss would have been a little bit like stricter what the requirements are to have your jersey. Because we know, right? Because if it was just like, if Jeannie Buss is just allowing LeBron James to just have his jersey retired like that, then if she was in charge, then more than likely Michael Cooper would be up there on the wall. I'm no shade on Michael Cooper. I love Cooper. What I'm saying is Ori will be on the wall. You will be people. A lot of food. Derek Fisher will be on the wall. It was these fan favorites will be on the wall. But Jerry Buss had this criteria and talking about a commitment of excellence. Like if the Celtics ain't putting division banners up, we ain't putting division banners up. So now we have set the bar so high that it's championship or bust. And if you don't have a championship on your resume, then you're not going to get on the wall. Now, when it comes to LeBron, I do believe LeBron gets one. If he gets one more championship, he's on the wall. And I mean, we're just going to have to cry on it because it's going to happen.
But I have no problem with that.
I have no problem with it either. If he gets one more, especially now in this climate right now, especially that we went from the bubble, we had a down year, we had another down year, we went to the Western Conference Finals, and now we're part of the contenders. Now the expectations is us time to beat. So if we are now going to be in that conversation of the top 4-5 teams to win a championship, and he wins it, how can you deny him to get his jersey? Now, I'm not saying get a statue. I'm not saying get a statue.
We haven't even gone there.
Well,
but that's
I want to get crazy here.
That's a what if he wins. And of course, what we're talking about is the fact that Jeannie says if something happened today and he decides he's never playing again, his number is going to be up there.
We have to maintain the sanctity of that act.
We do.
Right? It has to mean something.
Right.
It's just like the All-Star, right? Like balloting now going to fans. A lot of people didn't like that. It watered it down. It became a popularity contest.
Right.
And even
That's
to
how
players,
became
right? Even to players, it meant more when the people, your peers, your coaches selected you. Even though you're an opponent, I recognize your talent and skill, and you get voted as an all-star and those type of things. So a lot of fans feel like it kind of watered it down when the fan voting became a part of all-star selection. So I think retiring a jersey should still be one of a very rare, very elite act, right? Of homage that you pay to a player who has basically cemented some type of legacy, right, on your team and with your franchise. But you do have some that have created a stamp on the game. Like I'll give you an example: MLB and Jackie Robinson. Right. So that transcends every team has retired because his stamp on Major League Baseball, right, in a time and an era in America, right, that's a bigger footprint. But we're talking about individuals and individual teams that are generating money. As great as I think an ambassador for the sport that LeBron has been throughout his career, I think he gets a lot of hate, right, from fans that's unwarranted. I mean, he's never been in any scandals. He's he's done a lot for the community that he's been, whichever community he's been in, he's done, with his schools and stuff. So I have no, as far as I know, he's an outstanding husband, father, supports people. So I don't have any shade for him in that area. But again, if we're going to retire a number, your footprint on that organization needs to be huge.
Yes.
Right. It needs to be huge, where when we talk about the Lakers, your name has to come up.
Yeah.
Like you can't talk Lakers dynasty and legacy without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, without Magic Johnson.
Yep.
Right.
You just like the Bulls and Jordan, right?
Yeah.
Like it needs to go hand in hand. And I don't think he's done that yet.
No, and
So let me ask you guys a question. And this
he doesn't have to say anything at all.
First of all, Milan, I'm happy that you're on the show because you spoke that so eloquently.
Thank you.
Right, because I am an avid
LeBron hater.
No, not LeBron hater, but I'm definitely an avid he should not have his number retired. But let me tell you, if it was up to me, am I wrong for saying this? If it was up to me, if I would authorize a LeBron retired number on one condition: if he goes up against the Celtics and beat them.
I don't care. As long
So
as
wait a
he wins
minute.
a
So
title.
if he wins a title,
those are things out of his control.
that's out of his control.
Those are things out of his control.
Hold on.
Those are things out of his control.
No, wait a minute.
Who he plays against. Let's say he takes the Lakers to the championship, but the Celtics don't do their part.
Okay, I got you. I feel that.
He'll blame LeBron for that.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm not blaming. Listen, all I'm saying is, I know. So I guess you guys are saying I'm unreasonable. I got you.
Yes.
But I'm saying if the Celtics make it and the Lakers make it, he has to beat them.
Of course, then.
Yeah. If he loses against
and
them,
that's the end of
then
it.
we're not retiring.
Well,
his
that's
number.
why
Does he have to retire a Laker?
Yeah.
Is that
No,
one of your?
he should.
Let's say he beats the Celtics,
Guys,
and then he goes back to Cleveland or goes to another team.
He should retire a Cleveland Cavalier. Why is it even up? Why is it even up for?
You know what?
But I'm asking Mike because he knows that your only condition.
Listen, and to retire his number on here, he has to beat the Celtics and retire.
Shaq got his jersey retired in 3 franchises.
Well,
yeah, but I mean that's because the other two don't
necessarily agree with that either.
Wait a minute,
they don't have nobody retired.
And then isn't Wilt Chamberlain or his number retired with the 76ers and also the Lakers?
I'd like to.
I'm just saying these are things that have happened. These are not out of the realm of possibilities. And if he meant something to these teams, especially if you win championships in these cities, how are we not returning? I mean, that's what I'm saying. I understand we are the Lakers. I understand, and that's why. And you talk about fans. You talk about people that don't like fans. Okay, listen to us right now. We have got this air of superiority that we got to be like,
and we deserve it.
And
we deserve it.
It's like we're stuffy. No, bro. It's what it is. The pinkies out. We drinking champagne in the Laker game, dude. Come on, man. He wins 2 championships. It don't matter who he plays against. He did more than Jerry West did. Yes, he bled for it, but did he win 2? I'm gonna let it settle. Did he win 2?
No,
but he's the logo.
But he's the logo.
No, wait.
Come on, dude.
Well, you talking about only as a player. He's Jerry West constructed a whole lot of when.
Yeah, but he's not. But we're talking about the.
But we're talking about contributions. And if the end all be all is championships, if we're talking about end all be all is championships,
because now you're taking and you're saying let's just judge LeBron on his playing career as a Laker. But we can judge Jerry West on his playing career, his executive career, and all.
Nah, dog.
When
see,
LeBron
that's
hasn't had a chance to do any of that. Now, hang on. Now, I would like to ponder something and throw this out there, guys. We've thrown out the jersey retirement and the statue, or they say, well, those are the two things. Hang on.
No way it gets to the statue.
No way.
Hang on. I said that too. I'm actually going the other way now. I would prefer he get a statue because that doesn't tarnish the Oscar De La Hoya's out there. Who cares? There's hockey players out there. Give him a statue. It's part of the entertainment at AEG. He played there. Fucking Taylor Swift will probably get a goddamn statue there. So who gives a shit? Honestly, give him the statue. Don't mess up the wall. If he wins it, wins it. But the statue doesn't affect Lakers at all.
The statue to me is so. I mean, because let's think about the statues that we have out there. We have a Kareem statue. We have a Magic statue. We have a Chick Hearn statue. We have a Shaquille O'Neal statue. Mm-hmm. These are legendary players.
Lakers,
right? So if we're saying you have to get on the wall to get the statue, and if you're on the wall, we now are using the microscope, and where money is probably talking like you got to do a hell of a lot to get out there.
Right.
On to get to be immortalized like that. And I know you were talking about before, and I kind of like agree. I don't know if I look, man. I love Gigi. I love Gigi. I love her just like the next part. But Gigi didn't put not one basket in Staples. So at the same time, we want to go ahead and commemorate that, and I get that, and I know she is, but that's Daddy's job, And I don't want to sound callous, but when at the same time, I am saying that we're talking about things that happen outside of the game that happened outside the game. Yes, it's a tragedy, but at the same time, in the game when Kobe made those championships happen, and it should be Kobe on the statue. If you want to put Gigi, I have no problem with it. At the same time, I'm just saying, if we're talking about criteria, you got to put multiple championships to get a statue. You got to have 3 championships.
So
at least.
do you see a statue as a bigger honor than
Yes.
retiring the
Yes,
jersey on the wall?
yes,
I think-
yes.
yeah,
Because you know why?
Why?
Because think about it. Where's Scottie Pippen? Where's Scottie Pippen's
Here's what?
statue?
It doesn't. But here's the thing, that the jerseys travel. We won't forever be at Crypto, and those statues are going to stay. So all those statues would now be at the Forum, and we're now over here, which isn't horrible, but that's at the Forum. So really, what those statues are honoring are moments at the Forum. What the wall is honoring is players as a Laker.
But Magic never played in Crypto or Staples,
And he's got
and he had a statue there. So that's so. What I'm saying is
That's true.
so that's what I'm saying.
That's
So
true.
yes, it's the legacy of the Lakers that is getting these guys these statues in front of the house, wherever that
or
house
it's
is.
just LA greats, and that you can't argue that
No.
LeBron is already an LA great.
I know. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He just is.
Eh,
That's just-
he's
that is there.
it's the truth,
Again,
but it's
when you have Oscar De
Did
La
he get
Hoya
one
out there,
before Kobe?
who?
or what?
LeBron.
Oh, hell no.
Did
Get a
he get
what?
a statue before?
Oh no, he's at least
Man.
15 years away.
Dude, you see how
No,
you
they're
see when
announcing that this year. They're going to announce it.
they had a mural of LeBron with the regulation error defaced it front and center.
Yeah.
They did a deface. So you put a statue in front of before
It won't work.
they would literally take
Yeah.
that thing
Yeah,
down
yeah,
like Confederate statues. There would be
Yeah.
somebody out there
Yeah.
taking that
Right,
statue
right,
down,
right.
And if
just like
if
it was
LeBron
Robert E.
let
Lee.
that happen, that would be
It was
that's the
Stonewall
worst
Jackson. Yeah,
decision
take
since
that
the
junk off.
decision. That would be the worst decision since the decision. I have a feeling that this is going to extend into an extended talk. So we're going to start this right now, Money Mike.
Yeah.
We finish the show, as you know, because you follow and listen. We finish the show always with a segment we call Money Mike's Out of Bounds. Mylan. Money Mike's
He's gonna agree with me. I know he.
Money Mike's going to share his opinions or thoughts on a topic, and it's real easy. He just wants to know if those thoughts are inbounds or out of bounds.
Okay.
Money Mike, you got the mic.
Mike.
So, Milan, the first time I saw you, man, I went to a Sparks game, and I sat courtside. Where you saw me the time
Across.
It was the year prior, and I remember, we was down. Tarashi was gonna be there, and it was the first time we saw Liz Cambridge coming to the. And I was excited. I was like, I'm about to watch Liz Cambridge. This is the female Shaq. It's gonna be amazing. I saw her jog up and down there, never post up, never try to get a rebound, and in literally 10 minutes of play, I was like, what is Liz Cambridge doing? She just wants to be a model and doesn't care anything about the game. So then you fast forward, she leaves the Sparks mid-season, you know that, and then we don't hear from her, and then all of a sudden, Liz been talking a whole lot of smack back in the day, and these videos come out about you guys look, if you don't know
That video's bad.
if you don't know, you look it up. Look up Liz Cambridge. Like
That video is bad.
So I think based on what I've heard about her, the style of play, and everything she's done, I think she absolutely deserved everything that she's getting right now. And God, am I out of bounds to say, hey, you deserve to get all that because you really are more
You can
concerned
refuse
about
to answer.
everything other than basketball.
We'll start with our guest.
Okay, so
Mylan.
I have to. I need you to qualify.
There we go,
everything
there we
too.
go.
So when you say deserve what she's getting, what exactly? Do
Well-
you mean her statute right now? Her status as a basketball player? Are you talking about the social media backlash, or what do you mean by what she's getting?
Number one, her status as a basketball player. I definitely think that number one, she really never really cared about the game, or when she became a Spark, let me say she never really cared about the game. Number two, when she went over to the international team a couple years ago, she got removed off of that, and it seemed like that she was really kind of talking kind of foul to these people. So I think if you really are willing to put up that smoke, then you kind of deserve what you
But
get.
what is she getting? He's asking.
Oh, well, she got.
Is it the social media heat? Is it? Or what are you asking about? What the price she's paying? What price exactly are you referring to?
I think she depends. Okay, let me answer it. Let me answer it like this. I think because of the way that she is playing or lack of the way she's playing, she is overcompensated by doing dirty things to other people. So because of the dirty thing that she's done, because she really didn't want to play basketball no more, I think she deserves the dirtiness that's coming back to her now.
Okay.
So I will answer in this way. Her status as a basketball player right now, I would say, is definitely Liz's doing. Right, like Liz Cambage is not, actively on a WNBA roster or playing, and I think that's because of things she has done in her career. Right, she left the Sparks mid-season. The different relationships with the different teams that could employ her, or she could pay for. I think she is where she should be based on the career path she's chosen and what she's done. As far as like people taking heat and those type of things, I've always been kind of reticent to jump to a conclusion when I don't know everything, right? Like I don't know exactly what happened between her and the Nigerian team. I don't, I've heard different renditions. You have people who will give their left toe that she said what people have claimed she said. Liz says she didn't. There's people that support her, that support the other. I wasn't there. I don't know. There isn't concrete footage where you can absolutely see. I mean, we've seen the fouls and those type of things. So in this age of, with social media and bullying and any of that, do I believe Liz Cambage deserves to be bullied or suffer her mental health in any way, shape, or form, or undue stress? Absolutely not. Okay. I don't really wish that on anyone. I mean, there are some really vile things you can do in society and humanity where nobody is going to back you. But I wouldn't want Liz to feel, on an island or isolated based on just basketball. Right, like trash talk or whatever basketball. If you cross that line and you're going into humanity type of things with race and religion and those type of things, then you may have to lay in the bed you made. Right. But I don't know that that's a fact. Okay. So as far as her status as a ball player, I think she's where she has put herself. The other stuff, the jury's still out.
Right.
Step Pat.
I think inbounds.
Yeah.
Because just like Milan said, when we're talking about her as a basketball player, she was with the Aces too before, right?
Yeah, she was with the Aces prior.
Why in the hell are you leaving the Aces? You see what I'm saying? Why are you leaving that organization, which is up and coming, and really don't obviously look like deuces? We don't even need you. Matter of fact, we about to be better without you. And they did that, and they proved that. Okay, she comes here. Did she come to LA for the right reasons? We don't know. At the same time, we know she didn't last. And guess what happened? When she leaves, deuces. We just don't want that kind of energy around us. Those two teams that we've actually seen where they're like, you know what? Hey, and then I'm going to couple that with the footage of the. There is no real reason for you to be acting like that on the basketball court. If your swim move is a swim move, but your swim move is coming down and clawing and slapping people in the face, that's dirty play. So I'm like, now I got two teams really saying that we can do without. I'm looking at the thing where homegirl basically said, I'm going to take matters in my own hand. I'm going to have to deck her because she's just out of pocket. And now when I'm hearing her talk on these interviews, I'm just saying, like, I've now got a small sample size to make my own decision based upon her behavior. And if there's a player that I want to support, I don't support players like that. I don't like that kind of player. That kind of player, yeah, there can be circumstances, but at the same time, you also got to conduct yourself in a professional manner. And I don't think she's doing that at all. And so she is now reaping what she sows. I'm not saying we got to go ahead and talk about her mental health and bash her, but at the same time, nobody's touching her. Nobody really wants that energy around them. You know, if the collective is basically shunning her, it's not the WNBA has the burden of proof. She has to show something that's different. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, well, look, I'm good. If y'all good, I'm good. If she's going to go ahead and change her ways, she could come back in the league. If she's going to be that about being out there and doing sound bites, she got to do out there. She got to take her medicine. So you inbounds.
Yeah, I'm gonna go inbounds as well. I'm gonna agree. Obviously, wish no ill will, but you do reap what you sow. And when you put bad energy out there, you put bad energy out there. This proves the point of kind of what we were talking about. This proves the opposite. We're saying that we like rivalry. We like when they get into each other's face. No. When it's distasteful, no, we don't like that. So anyone who was watching the show earlier and going, oh man, just like they want us to, no, that's not true. And this is proof that there is too far when it's entertainment and they can keep it within that realm. Okay.
Well, within the
there's
realms of
something
game,
about
yes.
Liz that has pushed it out of that realm, and where there's smoke, there's fire. And when you keep hearing different players in different locations, there has to be some truth to it. And she hasn't proven anything to anybody or shown anyone any reason not to believe it. If anything, she's giving you every reason to believe it, whether you've seen the proof or not. So for that, she's in bounds. But yes, I don't wish isolation on her and so forth. But if she actually had hopes of a basketball career, she definitely damaged that. But actually, hopes of a basketball career were always up for debate with her, whether that was her main focus, whether she wanted to be the Instagram model or so forth. So
Lamar Odom cool with her. Lamar Odom was like, hey, I don't care what you did, girl. I mean, you're fine.
You're all good.
Really? He said that?
Yeah, he did. He literally said that.
Man,
He wild with it. Lamar, you should have. I don't want.
Hey, we got Lamar.
Lamar will be on one of our future episodes.
So I didn't ask him that though.
You should, dude. It's wild, bro.
Next time. All right, everybody. Well, thank you. This has been a great episode. Milan, thank you so much for joining us. This has been great. We really enjoy it. We hope to have you back again soon.
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. Of course, you've been watching the Profanity Nation podcast. For Stat Pat, Money Mike, I'm Simster. We out.
Peace.